Oh my god, the Warriors have clinched the Group C for the Emirates NBA Cup in a very weird, I don't know what the hell this game was actually. The Pelicans really showed up and played incredibly well. You gotta give them credit for playing this well, obviously being... well, they have a lot of injuries, let's just say, right? And Brandon Ingram came back for tonight's game. Trey Murphy was here back for tonight's game, and they played really well. Jeremiah Robinson, Errol off the bench. They had a lot of players just contributing and playing better than they have played this season overall. And they gave us a great fight, especially defensively, where, I mean, they have not been great shooting the three-point line, from the three-point line, which they came back down to the earth in the second half, where they shot... How well did they shoot in the second half? They shot 6 of 23 in the second half, which, yeah, seems in line. And we shot even worse on the game, actually, from the three-point line. We really couldn't find the stroke from the three-point line. Podziemski, even though he was at least aggressive taking them, couldn't make them. Kuminga couldn't make them. Buddy Hield was off from the three-point line. It was Wiggins, Draymond, and Steph making three-pointers, pretty much. And Steph had 19, 7, and 7, but down the stretch he was horrendous. He had a weird game. The Pelicans did a really good job double teaming him, giving him tough decisions. He got into really bad spots on the floor where the double teams they came, and Steph had nowhere to go with the ball a lot of the time. And that was great game planning by the Pelicans, but thankfully it did not matter, since we locked them down in the second half defensively, and then we almost blew it and gave it away. Thankfully Trey Murphy missed the three-pointer, and Draymond made at least some free throws, but once again, down the stretch, the free throws were hilarious. But hey, the defense held up really well in the second half after what was disappointing first half defensively, where we couldn't do anything with them bringing the pick and roll higher and involving Steph in those pick and rolls, and we were late to switches, we were late to contests, which led to better three-point quality looks for the Pelicans, and they were knocking them down for whatever reason. I mean, Brandin Boston, for whatever reason, was knocking shit down from the mid-range that he usually doesn't, right? All of their players pretty much were just geeked up for this game, or however you wanna say it, right? They were just more prepared to play in this cup game. And I mean, we already beat them twice this season, and it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row, and we did that. So it doesn't matter how weird it looked, it happened, and that's what matters at the end of the day. The rebounding was great. You gotta give props, to everyone on the boards. Wiggins continues to play as well as he has all season, and the offense is coming along now with 30 points tonight. He was incredible from the free throw line. He, the three ball fell early. He even made some really good plays, passing the ball, had 4 assists, and some of them were pretty classic Warriors basketball. And, Lindy wasn't working, Buddy wasn't working that much, so Steve Kerr was really flipping through all the potential shooting guards, right? Podziemski got some minutes, Moody got some minutes, GP2, Buddy, and Lindy Waters, but Lindy was really bad today. He just didn't have it shooting the ball, and he couldn't stay with Trey Murphy, and him closing out on Trey Murphy it just wasn't working, it just wasn't good. So they didn't give him... they didn't play him that much, pretty much at all in the second half, which made sense to me. And what else is there to say? We withstood the early barrage. We were always, kept up pace with them, especially even though we didn't play that well and they were playing really well. I also want to point out that we had a plane issue heading into New Orleans for whatever reason. Apparently there were some issues with our plane. So they landed at like 1 a.m., which is tough. Yeah, they attacked those switches and closeouts really well, but in the second half we adjusted as well as we should have with how good our defense has been, which is great. And we remain undefeated against teams under 500 right now, which is nice. What else is there to say? Yeah, the referees were also really weird in the third quarter. It felt like they were giving up some makeup calls to the Pelicans for no reason, in my opinion, in the third quarter. And it got really weird there, but hey, we made it through, that's all that matters. And Buddy Hield, even though he wasn't great, he made some good plays down the stretch and rebounded the ball well. He really, finishing around the rim, he's been really better than we have expected him to be. And he in the fourth quarter, I feel like when the games mattered, he always has a layup or two in the fourth quarter, which is huge, and it's nice to see. And him and Kuminga held it down at the end of the third quarter pretty well, even though they both didn't have a great game. They both held it down pretty well today, I would say. Moody also got 20 minutes. Not sure how impressed I was with him, but he did better defensively than Lindy today, I would say. So that's the reason at the end of the day. And we clinched Group C, which is awesome. And tonight we play a back-to-back against the Spurs. That's going to be intriguing. I don't know if Wemby will be back because he has not played in some of their latest games. But hey, that should be a fun matchup. The Spurs are pretty solid against Warriors legend Chris Paul. And yeah, just keep stacking up wins. We are still the number 1 seed in the West, which is awesome. Wiggins is playing like an all-star. And just playing with some of the best juice in his career. Draymond continues to knock down 3-pointers. Steph at least has been shooting the ball really well, even though I feel like, before the fourth quarter, Steph had a really solid all-around game, but the fourth quarter, where he was just doing bullshit out there on the court, what was he? 1 of 3 and 2 turnovers. Yeah, he was awful in the fourth quarter. Made it feel worse than it actually was. And the bench, even though I guess everyone kind of played their part at the end of the day, right? Even though it was no standouts and it wasn't, as great as it usually is from Kuminga and Buddy. They both played their parts at the end of the day, and Pods made up for it offensively at least a little bit. You just hope his 3-ball starts to fall at the end of the day. That's the biggest thing. And shout out Loon and Trace, man. They are awesome. And yeah, tomorrow, San Antonio. See you.